Hi, I'm going to show the mass upsert functionality that we introduced a few weeks ago, just to make a quick test and make sure it's working and kind of show it, and also do it with Postman because a lot of people use Postman for some reason or other. Okay, so basically the mass upsert is based on the mass create, where we can send in a whole set of records and their values. But and we can auto-reference the records from one and the other. So if I want to create a record in module X and I want another record in module E, but module E references the first one, you can actually define that inside the context of this creation. The first record has this virtual reference ID, and you can reference that in the field, so you can actually tie them together. It will dynamically link them, create them in the right order, and all of it. Constructing on top of the create, we added a mass upsert functionality, whereas you can add here, this is a real example with all the references, accounts, and the like. In the mass upsert, okay, we just did, we add a search on field. I'll show you that now in the code, where you can actually search for the record based on some fields before creating it. So it's and update the fields that you indicate. So let's see this working. I'm going to come over here. I have my coreBOS installed here, and I'm going to create an example that's in our test site, and it's going to create some records. Okay, this is my coreBOS. I have organizations 1,178, and support tickets I have 181, and we'll be inserting some new ones. Okay, let's connect via web service to that coreBOS. Come over here to the test code, and we have here an example which is mass upsert. Okay, have a look at this mass upsert. What it's going to do is going to define an array. It's going to say that it's going to create a help desk record. There's no reference, so this is just created. The element and the fields, okay, the title, the parent ID, what account it's going to be related to, what user I'm going to assign to. These are hard-coded. Notice that here I'm putting the exact ID of two records that are in the application, and other fields, just like you would do with a create or anything else. But here is the magic is here actually. Here I'm saying that this help desk record is going to be related to the account ref account 1. Okay, ref account 1, we have to come down here and see that besides this help desk record that I'm creating here, I'm going to create another one. We'll get to that one next, but I'm also going to create an account. And when it creates this account, I want to give it this virtual ID in the context of this JSON object. It's going to have this name and this website and this user ID and this description. And once, so the mass upsert will notice that this has to be created before the help desk record, because it needs it to put the ID here, and it will actually put the correct ID for me. Then we're going to create another help desk ticket. This one is related to ref account 2, and it has a bunch of fields just like before and some other values. And ref account 2 is down here, but notice that this one is an upsert. This one says, okay, yeah, I'm going to create an account, and you're going to call it ref account 2 inside the context of this JSON object, but I want you to first search for the account name. What account name? The account name I'm giving you here, CVO radio. Okay, let's have a look. Let's search for that one. Come over here to our organizations, and we're going to search for that. Here's the record. I'm going to open another tab so we have it open, and I'm going to come back here to the list view so we can count them when it creates. CV 725 and 718 are down here, are this one, the text field, which is empty, and the URL, which is empty. It's going to fill those in. Okay, so basically what I'm saying here is that, okay, you're going to create the ref account 2. Before you create it, I want you to search for it. If you find it, then you're going to use that ID as the reference account 2. So this ticket here, which is going to be related to ref account 2, will not create another account, but will upsert and relate it to the one that it finds here. And then it will also update these two fields. Okay, so again, okay, 2 help desk records, and 1 account, and the other account, it should find it and it should update for us. Okay, wait. I skipped this one. Okay, this first record is going to create a ticket that's called Support Ticket Mass Upsert Test 1, and it's going to have the product ID 14272617. The second help desk command that we are trying to create, we're going to say, okay, search on the ticket title and the product ID. You're going to look for a record that's called Support Ticket Mass Upsert Test 1. It's actually going to find this one because it had already created it. And the product ID is also 142617, which is the same one here. So if this works correctly, it will actually create this record related to ref account 1, which it will create because there's no search here. Then it will okay, first it will create this one because it won't find it. It will reference and find the ID for this one. It will create this record, and then this will be an upsert which will update this record here. So I'm going to end up with 1 support ticket and 1 new account, okay, because this one will be overridden. Notice that we have a whole bunch of 1s here, 1.1, 1, 1, and here it's all 2s. So if this works correctly, I'm going to end up with a help desk ticket related to ref account 2, which is CVO radio, and with all its fields set to 2. Okay, that's kind of what the syntax and the logic of the object does. Sending it in, really easy. Session name, operation mass create. Notice that we are mass upserting, but we use the mass create because it's actually a mass create. We're just using kind of the syntax and the functionality using the search on here field. And we send in the whole object, the whole JSON object. Okay, notice that I'm encoding that object here. So this is actually kind of a string, a JSON string that I'm sending it. Okay, great. Let's execute that. And okay, it says that it worked correctly. Here I have success creates, and it says that it created this help desk ticket test 1 with these fields related to account 1179 and all the fields. Then it said that it did this other one, which is a mass upsert, and it overwrote the ones that we had relating it to this other parent ID. The CVO radio was updated, found and updated, and then we have here, okay, here, and then we have the last account which was created, which was the parent ID. This is the other help desk. Okay, I said that wrong, but anyway, they're here. Files created, failed creates 0. Okay, so if I reload this, instead of 1178, I have 1179. If we go to the end, we'll have this mass upsert test 1. This is the account that it created and related to the first help desk record that it created. This is the CVO radio. If I reload this page, we should get down here the updated fields. Remember, this was empty and this was empty. It found this record and updated it. And support tickets, we have 181. We'll go to 182. And if we look at that record, notice that we have all of the 2s. Okay, 2.2, 2. Okay, so it actually created this record the first time. It related it to the new account, and then it found it and it upserted it. Okay, so anyway, that's basically the functionality and how it works. Now, okay, this is all nice. Let's see how we can do this same functionality using Postman. So I'm booting up my Postman here, and we're going to create a new connection. Where are we going to connect this to? We're going to connect it to this install. That would be Web Service. Okay, good. And this is a post, and we have to send the things in the body. I'm going to put first here in a form data, which is the operation, which is the recommended and the correct way to actually send the data to the coreBOS web service API. Okay, we're going to do a mass create. we're going to put here the session name. This will be exactly these parameters here. Okay, a session name. The operation, I put mass create and elements. Okay, the session name and elements. Okay, the session name, let's get that. I'm going to open this test code PHP in another tab. I'm going to get the context variables, execute that, and this is a valid session ID. This is this valid session ID. I'm going to get that one so I don't have to do the get challenge and the whole thing. This one, and now, okay, here is the elements. I have to put here the JSON string of the array. I can close this one. The JSON string, this JSON encoded string of the array that I have up here. So that's this. I have it here. Luckily, it outputs that for me here. Okay, here when I said there's a command here that says raw response mass upsert. No, this one. Debug me. Mass upsert sending in object JSON. So this is the sending in. It shows me here the string of JSON, the JSON string of the array that I have up here in PHP. Okay, I'm going to paste that in here. And now things are going to be a little different, I suppose, because I already have these objects here. So it's going to find them. Okay, this one we can empty and make sure it updates it again. Okay, this is a clean coreBOS test, which has the accounts validation here, so we can do unit testing. Now I should be able to save. Good. And here we delete this. Okay, so these should be reloaded again because I'm going to use the same functionality we just did. The thing is that now it's going to find these mass upsert test 1, this help desk. This is the organization. Well, let's delete this one. Delete this one so we can kind of get the same functionality, and we're going to get also the tickets. Okay, this ticket I'm going to change since it searches on the name. I'm going to change it, and so it should find it. Okay, now I'm ready to test this again. Okay, again we're sending in the form data and we send, and it says okay, basically again everything is good. Created everything, success, and at the end fail creates none. We have 182 tickets. If I reload this page, we have 183. Again, it created this one. It related it to the CVO radio account. If I reload the CVO radio account, we have upsert here and this that worked correctly. And organizations, we have one more, which is the mass upsert test 1, which we deleted. So okay, I mean that works perfectly well. One of the questions they asked me today was, instead of using form data, if we can send this data in as raw. Yeah, of course, sure we can. We can do that. Depends on how you want to send the data. The data raw has to be indicated here. Is it text? Is it JavaScript? Is it JSON, HTML, or is it XML? I'm going to send in a JSON because more or less that's what we usually use. But I mean, you could send in anything, I guess. So this is a JSON object. Well, it has to have the typical structure. Operation, session name. And we have the session name here. Probably still have it in my copy paste. Yeah. Oops. No. Okay. Wrong one. Let's copy this one. Okay. Session ID that I got from there. And here we have the elements. Okay. The elements. Okay. Here I have to put the not this one. I have to put here a JSON string, just like we were doing before. So I can actually do the same exact thing I did before. Okay, I copy this string and I put it, copy, and I put it into Postman as my string. Now what happens here is that it breaks because it's all full of double quotes, and I have to put double quotes, so I can't do that. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to quickly come over here to my text editor, paste that in here, and do a replace for double quotes and backslash double quotes. So we replace all of those. Now I copy this, go back to Postman, and I paste. And now I do have a JSON string of all of the things that I want to create. And that's about it. I mean, that should work. Let's copy this. Can I clear this somehow? Wrap line, raw, copy. Can I just delete this? No. Okay, I don't know how to delete this, but okay, I'm gonna copy that. Just select it. So I guess when we click send, it will unselect it. Okay, anyway, let's go. Let's try send. Okay, unknown operator, operation mass create. Did I do that correctly? Let me see. Where are you? Operation. Let's copy paste that. Raw JSON mass create session name elements successful error code and operation. Okay, I mean, well, I mean, okay, I did this before the test and it worked, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong now, but it should be, I mean, it should be that easy. I think there's an error here. Maybe? Call unexpected. Oh, okay. Ah, that's a double. That's a. Okay, that was stupid. Okay, set. Okay, there it is. It has to be, obviously has to be valid JSON. Okay, so yeah, you can use raw if you want, as long as you actually specify the correct format and the like. Anyway, so in the video, I was just trying to kind of explain the functionality of the mass upsert, which I hope I transmitted, the power that we have here. I mean, this is really a one-shot mass operation that can really save you a lot of time and effort in a lot of things. And I mean, it follows the coreBOS rules as to what kind of information you have to send in and how. And working with Postman, well, I mean, I'm no expert in this at all, but I mean, yeah, more or less. I mean, it's just URL calls at the end. So hope that helps.